Our time has finally come. Pamina has been added into the game. And you know what that means? It means her weapon got added into the game, the Army Breaker Spear. And you know what that means? It means our time has finally come. Leonide enjoyers rejoice. We are one pump chumps no longer. We're now a 2-minute man. We are a 2-pump chump. That is right. Leonide has just gotten the biggest buff since launch in the form of the army breaking spear. What does this do? Increases your crit and attack by 4%. That's nice. We're going to go over the 1-star version because if you pull for it, you're probably going to pull till you get 1 star and then stop because it takes premium currency. Before attacking, if the total distance of movement, charge, teleportation is no less than 6 tiles, using a non-instant skill to attack will reset the skill's cooldown and refunds the consumed energy. We don't care about that. This effect has a cooldown of 7 turns. Well, we're finally here. Glowing Pike Thrust has a cooldown of 6 turns. You heard me right. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. It has a cooldown of 0 turns. You got to move 6 tiles. But guess what? Leonide passively has 3, which is the lowest possible. But he also gets his chest's charge stance, which gives him 2, so he goes up to 5. And this attack has a range of 1 to 3. So as long as you, I believe, attack 2 tiles away, that will be 6 movement, and it will reset the cooldown of your Glowing Pike Thrust. What is Glowing Pike Thrust if you haven't used Leonide in a while? In fact, we'll go over him a little bit, and then I'll give you a little bit of a video showing why this is so good on him and kind of how I've been building him. I think there's some flexibility here on how to get the most damage. But this is his ultimate skill. It is his best skill by a landslide. You charge at one enemy with an across shape, you deal 100% damage. Plat, that's a basic attack. He literally does a basic attack worth of damage. However, before he attacks, he does dispel 2 debuffs on himself. Then he recovers HP equal to 100% of his attack, so it's a pretty big self-heal. And it adds 35% of his HP to his physical attack. I don't need to give you spoilers here, but he has roughly 9,000 HP in combat, and we will times that by 35%. He's going to get a bonus 3,000 attack. You're never going to be able to see it on the stat screen. You're never going to be able to see it because it's only during the move. As soon as the move is over, it's gone. So he initiates the attack, he gets a big attack boost, and then the attack's over and he loses the attack boost. So you're never actually going to be able to get a screenshot of the number. But I really wish you could, because he gets a huge attack boost here. So yes, that is only 100% damage, but it equates to a lot more damage than that. And I actually think it's pretty... It also like doubles with his trait. So what's his trait here? Before an attack or charge, for each tile he's traversed, mine's 1 star, by the way, he increases his damage by 4% and he ignores 6% of defense. I think it goes up to 10 and 10. It goes up to 8 and 10 at 5 star. The rest of it is honestly not that important. He does get the 20% damage reduction. I think goes up to 30% as well. But really, it's every tile he moves, he gets stronger. He gets more damage and he ignores more defense. So this is damage, this is damage. They're both forms of damage because ignoring defense is essentially increasing your damage, right? So you want him to move a lot. And honestly, he doesn't get that much better with stars. Of course, these do add up. Like if you get him to 2 stars, you get 2% more attack per movement or damage before movement. That's not that good. Like what is that? 12% more damage? I mean, it's good, but it's not that good. And this is only active every other turn because it has a 1-turn cooldown. However, if you get them to 3 stars, you get the 8% defense. Now you're looking at 12% more damage and maybe, I don't know, 12% more ignored defense. Now you're starting to really talk about some more damage there. So absolutely could be cool. But that's basically his trait, right? This spear wants you to move really far and then attack and then resets the cooldown. His trait wants you to move really far and then attack. And this ability it combined with his extra movement lets him move really far and then attack. So this all works together really well. Let's take a look at his other skills here, things that you might want to consider. What's the issue? Why is this not going to be like an S tier super meta build? Because he is still a 2-pump chump. After he does his attack twice, he is still going to have the same issue. He's going to go on 6 turns of cooldown. However, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say he's twice as good as he was before with this spear. If you're using glowing Pike Thrust. If you weren't using glowing Pike Thrust, then he was just not very strong in general. But now he gets to use this twice in a row. And if the combat goes on for 7 turns, you don't even need to use this on turn 6. You could use this on turn 7 when the spear's cooldown resets, and then you could just basically do it again twice in a row there as well. So overall, I do think that is really good. So it's not going to be meta in the sense that it's so slow. So typically what I would do is I would look for things to do on his off turns. If you have the spot for it though. So I'm running 2 passives to just kind of go all in on this. However, you could easily get rid of this passive here. At the start of the battle, you get 15% bonus HP. This will make you deal less damage. You're immune to the negative effects of injured, and before attacking, if your HP is higher, you knock them back. This is more of a PvP thing, but it is good. It just boosts my damage for the video that I'm going to show you. However, realistically, if you were going to put some, if you were going to use a different skill, High Alert is actually reasonable. 150% physical AoE damage, 2 energy. You could just do this for many turns in a row. It's a pretty reasonable ability. These are the 2 that I'm running right here because I just like them both. However, one thing that's good is he has a reaction that is a damage focused reaction. It's a protection and a damage focused reaction. So he will take melee damage 1 time. It has a 3-turn cooldown, so it's not every turn, right? But if someone's going to take melee damage, he will jump in front of them and preemptively attack. So this is something good for him to do on his off turns as well, which is very good. Rank 7, I wouldn't run either of them. The discipline skill tree is fine, but I don't like the 4-turn cooldown. You get 1 turn cooldown, so you can bring 4-turn things down to 3 turns. That's okay because you can combine a few things together to make this work, but you have to have a really specific build in mind to make this reasonable. Like you can bring a 6-turn cooldown skill down to a 5-turn. Then if you use Coco, it goes down to 4-turn. You use the world or whatever, then it can go down to 3 2-turns, and then a combo maybe you get the 1 turn. So maybe it's like every other turn you could use it, and that's like you have to run multiple legends. It just, I don't think it's realistic. I don't know why I have both of these, by the way. I think I originally got Charge Pursuit, and then I wanted Discipline, and then I realized I don't like either of them. Charge Pursuit, pretty terrible. 30% instant damage, wouldn't really consider using it. Both of his attacks are pretty terrible as well. 100% attack and recovers additional energy. The issue is he has no fucking need of energy, like literally at all. He has one skill that maybe, like this is the idea of it, the all-out Pike Thrust. This takes 3 energy, and it has a 2-turn cooldown. So you use this, your next turn you normal attack to get up to your 3 energy, and then the turn after you, I guess, use all-out Pike Thrust again. That way you can maintain using this quite a bit. This is literally just a bad version of the other skill. Now, there's slight differences. This heals and does way more damage, whereas this does less damage, but it can knock them back and can inflict stun if you knock them into something, but a lot of things are immune to stun. It's a lot less damage, even though it has a better scaling in the sense like, oh, this only, this is 35% HP. This is 30% HP, but it has the same ceiling, but the overall modifier is only 60% damage. So it's always going to be roughly half as strong. Not a very good skill at all. It's reasonable though. But then at rank 11, that's when you get your all-out Pike Thrust. So I think that it's very reasonable to take out Radiant Guard, not get that, and to use the alert skill instead. I think this is pretty reasonable. If you don't want to use the alert skill, you could also bring out his other dash attack, the all-out Pike Thrust. I don't think you're going to ever give up the 15% attack and the 2 extra movement tiles. It's too good. Now, this makes him move like a rook in chess. However, we've already talked about the weapon. Let's talk about the trinket here. We are using the fancy hat because this makes him immune to all movement impairing effects. And so when you get the ability to only move as a chess piece, I don't know why it doesn't say it works like this. However, it just turns off that. You just get 2 movement with no strings attached, and this is just permanent when you have the fancy hat on. So as long as Leonide is wearing a fancy hat, he just is a 5 movement unit, which is a lot of movement, especially for a character that has a weapon and a trait that scales with movement. So very, very strong. I would use that. Also, you might as well use the resonance that lets you move faster, or lets you move, get bonus stats when moving. I mean, he's always going to be moving 3 tiles. You're going to go out of your way to make sure he moves as much as possible every single turn. So I think Fancy Hat is the best one there. There's probably always other options. However, a trap I think you could fall for is using instant. I would not use instant skills with him. There's a caveat, quick caveat. If you're using the Radiant Guard and you have the ability to knock things back by a tile, and you have more HP, and you use the Flint Ring with an AoE attack, this is like the game's only massive AoE knockback move combo, specifically with Leonide, that won the PvP tournament. But in PvE, this is not going to do much. Why do I say you don't want to typically use instant skills? Is if you use an instant skill, it like resets your step counter. So if you could use it, like if you use the healing pill at the start of your turn, that's fine. But why would you use the healing pill? He's already going to heal when he attacks. If you're going to use the armband, if there's someone right next to you, it's fine. But if you move, use the armband and then attack, it like resets the trait's step counter, right? So it's not very good at that. So I would say the hat is not a must-have, but it's probably the best. Shield of Justice would also be very good. Now, as far as the tarot, this is the one I'm super torn on. He's one of the only characters, if not literally the only character that I could think of right now, that has a damage scaling directly based off his HP. And it's pretty large. It's 35% of his HP. And the HP is already the biggest number, so percent gains on that are huge. So being able to get a Fool's Nativity with the hidden trait, you get 10%, 10%, and I happen to roll a 10% on this and a flat HP. I mean, this is a fucking insane tarot, by the way. But the secondary effects don't do that much in a PvE environment. If the character's max HP is greater than the target's, even with almost 10,000 HP, enemies just have more HP than that. Like, this is not a lot of HP from a PvE standpoint. And the other effect here, damage is dealt is increased if your HP percentage is greater. Again, not insane, because you're attacking things that are probably going to be at full health. Even if you go up to full health, it's fine. You can get this sometimes, but if you're going after something that's healthy, it's you're not going to get this a lot. However, you do get so many stats out of it, it's probably just worth it. You could go for the one-shot kill with the healthy enemies. You could go for extra crit chance. There's kind of a lot of things that I think are reasonable. I wouldn't mind going for the world as well, where you just, after you use your move twice, you just stand by, and if you just keep standbying, and you can rely on your Guardian's Oath to do the stuff, because I believe the thing will also reduce the cooldown of all active skills. And I don't know if reaction counts as an active skill. I haven't specifically tested that. So there's quite a bit of flexibility here. I mean, he could even use Chariot, get a move 2 on passive, but I wouldn't use that. I think that's more of a meme than anything. But I mean, I am currently going with the Fool's Nativity, because even if it's not the single best way to get the most damage out of his 2 hits, it is a lot of survivability. It is going to make him much harder to kill, because again, this guy has more HP than Coco does, with my current setup at least, especially when you're running the Radiant Guard. This thing is kind of crazy. You get 15% bonus HP at the start of combat, but you become a 2-pump chump, absolutely. So you might want, if you plan on wanting to use more than 2 attacks, that's when I take this out and I use something a little more viable, like the alert hit, where you can just spend all that energy to do something. But yeah, that is the build for Leonide. This spear was such a huge buff to him. And this is a character, if you get the spear, I would recommend building him at this point. I think you could do some really fun stuff with him. And I think especially for things like UD, where you're using a lot of teams, just throwing the spear on him, he can clear out a couple units, no problem. And he's going to have a lot of HP while doing it. And he's going to be able to ignore large amounts of defense. So he scales pretty well into hard content. And I've had a lot of fun. Let's take a look. This is not, all right, this isn't going to be the most insane showing. This isn't like my Nightingale one where I did whatever, 120,000 damage. this is not min-max. I just spent a couple minutes here doing like a basic team to give him some stats. Not trying to do the most damage possible, but you can take a look here. We have got our squad, and we're going to just... This is what's actually really, really cool, by the way, as well. Because now, if you're running a Nana, you can go you can go with your giant all-out Pike Thrust into a Nana, act again, into your Pike Thrust again. Homa is exceptionally good with him as well, if you have Homa, because she gives +2 movement, right? She has the movement 2 and the attack 2 on this bird. So it gives him, it brings him up from 5 movement to 7 movement while giving him an attack buff. And I want to point out here, my gear is not maxed. It's not rolled a bunch. He's only at 4,000 attack right now. And I know 4,000 is a lot, but when you're trying to do a damage showcase, this really isn't that much damage. But he is at 9,400, HP, which is a ton. So you could probably find a way to get another 500 to 1,000 attack on this character. Like on the status screen, I bet you can get another 600-700 attack out of him, if you were doing better than me. Like, you min-max it a bit more. But I'm trying to build a lot of characters. I'm trying to build Pamina. I'm trying to build I'm trying to build 3 separate characters just today, for videos and content and stuff. But here we go. All right. So I believe I wait till turn 2 because I am using the co-attack. Co-attack has become one of my favorite moves. That move is so sick. So here we go. Okay, one thing that's worth noting. Okay, let's watch this first. Boom. So one thing that's worth noting here really quick is the spear, the new weapon. It doesn't count these jump tiles as tiles. It doesn't count as movement here to here to here. It's like this counts as 1 and this counts as 2, but this one doesn't count. So because I was moving up here, right behind this guy's head, and even though he's here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It only counted as 5 tiles, even though it takes 7 movement to do it, because it wasn't counting these. So that's something to keep in mind. If your character gets jump, and you jump over things, it will not reset the cooldown. So you want to be careful with that. But he just did his ability. What did it do? It did 30, 40,000, I don't know, something like that. It did good damage. 20, 30,000 damage. But now I come in Prince's Prayer, and this is what I love, is that he gets to do this is a 6-turn cooldown skill, and he gets to just use it again. Leonide has just woken up from his nap, and that's another 32,000 right there. And then I immediately die, so because I didn't want to go through this whole fight, so I let them knock me off the edge here, and that's the end of it. But yeah, Leonide main, it is time to rejoice. Your boy has finally gotten a break. Is he meta? No. I genuinely think he goes from like a D tier to like a C tier character, maybe a B tier on the right map because of how tanky he could be with how much HP he has. However, I think that he does go up a full letter grade in usability, and it's already a weapon that you're probably going to want to get because it's good on it's great on Xavier. It's every character that uses a spear. It's even good on Gloria, honestly, because it's just great. Like, in fact, if we do Xavier, sorry, let's sort by rarity. Don't worry, we're almost done. But if you take a look at this, this is a 5-turn cooldown here, but that's not the skill we're looking at. We're looking at this one. This one is just 5 energy, but now if you move a bunch, you could get all your energy back for doing this skill. You could just get all 5 of your energy back for free instantly. You don't even need this freaking thing anymore. So you can get all your energy back when you use this skill. I think that's actually really freaking sick. It's not a great skill. It's fine, but I love this spear, and I think this spear adds a lot of fun potential builds. Anyway, that's all for today, guys. Thank you very much for Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip-flop. Bye! On the rise, watch the views go.